Hello, darlings. How are you doing? I am feeling fabulous. I have the house to myself. I never have the house to myself. There is always somebody home. And when somebody's home, that means there's a very big possibility that somebody's going to go, Mom, or Nine, or just something, or I have to go deal with something. It's just always something. And today I sang with Barbara. I danced with Tina. It was just a really good day. So now I am grounded. I'm in a good mood. I feel like I have all this positive energy going forward so I can handle anything that Tarot's going to throw at us today. And so we're going to get to the next question because you guys sent me some brilliant questions. I really, really appreciate it. I know I have been really lame about liking comments recently. It's not because I'm not reading them. It's because I'm reading them when I'm on break and I don't have internet. And I've just been really busy between work and having a cold and then dealing with Charlie and the family and the farm and life. So the next question comes from Sue. We get it. That was in response of me saying, I'm just so tired of talking about Trump. I've been wondering about the individual who left the pipe bombs in D.C. on January 5th. I haven't heard much talk about it over the past 2 years. Have you? Now, I did look online, and the FBI is offering a $500,000 reward because they can't figure out who this person is. They had put out some videos, and I looked at them, and I mean, it looks like whomever it is, they're wearing clothes that's too big for them. And, it's just, it's not great. It's not great film to be able to watch. And I wish I could magnify it and have all the things that the police have at their disposal to look at the photos and stuff. But we're going to use tarot to find out who is this bomber, what's going on, why can't we find them, will we find them? Okay, so this is somebody who had a really strong need to defend. They really feel that they're doing a service not just to the community but to the world at large. This is somebody who has a very grandiose feeling about themselves and their morals and that they are worth standing up for. Somebody who disagrees with the laws as they are. This is somebody who is willing and able to go against the law. This is somebody who not only is who's not only against the law, it's like it could actually be somebody who works within the government. Somebody who has knowledge of information that made them want to retaliate. Underneath it, they feel successful. They've been 2 years going. There are some people that know about it, but these are people of influence, people of money, people who don't have a reason to out this person. In the past, this was a magician. This was somebody who had the ability, the time. They had everything they needed to make this happen. This was a planned thing from the past, and they were given. There's other people involved that actually gave this individual the things that they needed to accomplish putting the pipe bombs out. On top of it, their whole complete thinking process was death. They wanted to cause death. They wanted to cause harm. And at the time, Kamala Harris was close by, and they had to remove her from that situation. So this could have been a death threat specifically, knowing that Kamala Harris was there. man, they really wanted destruction. They wanted more deaths. They wanted they wanted this to go off. That's really scary to think that they had death in their mind. It wasn't just to maim or to scare. It was to hurt and kill. Guys, whoever is behind, whoever is helping, whoever helped finance this, and I do feel like this could be somebody involved in some kind of governmental agency, whether it be political or in the military or just people who have money, influence, and power. And I think that there was 2 people involved. It's more than just this one person that they're showing us. I'm not sure if they're aware of this or if there was somebody else that they had noticed that they don't know, or maybe they've already said that they're not part of it, but there's something here. There's a shadow person that's dealing with this situation as well. The person who did it is definitely feeling the stress, the worry. They can't sleep at night. They've been 2 years going, and they just kind of like, how long am I going to get away with this? It's tiring. It's like that's all they can ever think about is, where do I go next? How do I stay safe? It's like their life is just this constant battle. The people around are looking at a plan. It's at the early stages of the plan, and that's why, yes, we're 2 years on, but they do have some information, probably information that they're not going to put out to the public because they want the people that know to be able to tell them. But there is a plan. It's in the beginning stages, and they brought other people in. They brought other people in to kind of help with the situation. Wouldn't be shocked if they brought in a psychic or a tarot reader or what have you. There's going to be information that's going to come out, but it's going to be about money. There's some kind of money trail that's going to show up, and it's going to be towards people of power, people of influence, people who have money. Money, money, money. It's like there's people higher up who were involved, who were pulling the strings, and money is going to cover it up. Money is going to cover it up. Wow. I'm not seeing any justice. I just see all this support. And it's just this constant support. The only person that's actually having any doubts or having any worries or is maybe the weak link in all of this would be the person who did it. And they are scared, not just because they don't want to be found by the FBI, they don't want to be hurt by the people who enacted this. Because they know they can't turn on that group either. So there's a blackmail happening here. That's scary. That's a very scary situation to be in. Who is this person? Is it more likely a female or a male? Is it more likely a female or a male? Female. I strongly feel that the pipe bomber was a female. She was paid money for it, and she had She has the mindset that she's doing something that's for the greater good, and she is nurturing anything that could scorch the earth. That, I mean, it's and it looks like it could be a female that has some power. This is the queen. This is not some weakling. This is somebody who has some maturity to them, who has the ability to know the difference between right and wrong. I mean, if it is a male, it's going to be a male with very feminine qualities. Will the pipe bomber ever be caught? Will the pipe bomber ever be caught? Will the pipe bomber ever be caught? A problem from the past will end up coming forth and being a problem in the future. For sure, it's going to come forth. And like I said, I keep saying there's two people, there's more than just that one person involved. 100%. The problems from the past, no matter how long it takes, we've got two major arcanas. We've got the Lovers, which is telling me that the choices that they made in the past are going to be felt in the future. And when I asked, is it going to come forth and be found out? 100%. The sun will shine. We will find out about this. But it's going to take going down a money trail to find out exactly who was involved in this. And that's a scary place to be, because when you're dealing with big players, there's a lot of money and corruption that can be exchanged. And it seems like that could be the case, and that could be part of what's holding this back. Sorry to say. I watched all the FBI videos, and I noticed one part where they show the pipe bomber sitting down, and you see the person kind of do this with their shoulders. And that's like, it just seemed like something that a girl would do to get their bra straps up. And it was obvious that whoever was this character, they were wearing clothes that was much, much too big for them. So that was that reading. Thank you, Sue, for the question. So for our next reading, we have Charles Pat Abel. Love you 9, love you 2. Love your reading. Question: is Donald Trump concerned with Ghislaine Maxwell? And I thought it was so interesting because when she ended up going to jail, Trump had said, "I wish her well. I wish her well." So yes, he definitely has things to be worried about. Him and Epstein were close. Donald Trump had commented about, he and I both like women, even though he likes his a little younger. And I mean, it was obvious that Trump knew everything that there was to be known about this man. So he definitely had involvement with him, how far it went. So let's kind of look at this from Ghislaine Maxwell's perspective and what the truth is about Donald Trump. Ghislaine Maxwell on Donald Trump specifically. She definitely has secrets. She definitely knows things. She knows about things that he's done. She has been in the room or even participated in some of these functions. These are things that we would consider underground type of dealings. Underneath it is the Wheel of Fortune. It is that lifestyle that you get into. It's a way of being, and it is the rich and it is the powerful Because let's not forget that she has this supposed list, and that list includes celebrities, it includes the Clintons, it includes, you know, pretty much anybody who was anybody, models, just everybody. And I'm sure that, yes, some participated in some of the Lolita situation, but I'm sure some were just feel guilty via association, depending on how many trips you took there. We've got the world behind her. With the world behind her, it's almost like a cycle came to an end and then another cycle came. In Ghislaine Maxwell's life, she did not have, she had the tools that went along with Epstein. She knew what Epstein wanted. She was looking for this father figure, and she wanted to continue this childish type of life, that she had not learned any lessons, and the lessons that were built into her just stepped her into this new cycle of life where she joined Epstein, where anything and everything could be possible. I mean, this is a world that is unknown to most of us. On top of it, interesting, she sees herself moving to better waters. So I think right now, she wants to be noticed. She wants to change the narrative of who she is. She wants to be one of Epstein's victims. But she's holding on to the information. She truly is. If you watch her, she's looking at, no matter what, how much time she ends up having to do, that she has this blackmail that she can use towards Trump and towards a multitude of others. But right now, she's thinking strategically how to rebuild her life, that she doesn't want to stick it to anybody that she thinks she would need to rebuild that life. Being offered an offer. I feel as though she has been offered to kind of do a tell-all, and she says no. I feel if she's thinking she's going to do less time, or if she's trying to get less time, that's not going to be an option. I think they're just going to say, no, you're just going to have to settle in for another little while. It's not to say they won't take time off the overall, but she's not going to be getting out, next week or anything. She'd like to. Her reputation is ruined. Everything that it's like, God help her. She has to be very, very careful, because there are people of power, there are people who do not want her to talk, there are people who are worried about her, that are stressed about her, that would like to see her go the way of Epstein. And that's for real. That's for real. She is scared. She is worried about her life. The people, it's weird, because on the one hand, the people around have this heartbreak for the victims. They have this heartbreak for the disgust of the situation that has been built. But at the same time, I can't help it. I have to share. The feeling came upon me that it was less about the heartache of those who were harmed. It's about the heartache of not getting justice for many because there's so many people in power that can pull the strings. She wants to give the impression that she's walking away from everything that she had to do in that life, that she is, for now, she's not going to tell a lot of information. She's going to kind of, if not become a recluse of sorts, who will come out from time to time to tantalize and to, it's very interesting. But what is she going off to do? She's going to rebuild whatever she considers her empire. She wants to live a certain lifestyle. She will be looking on to the people who she has not told on and to get them to pay out. And that is what will happen. If they're not willing to pay out, that's when you will see her speak. So this is all strategic. Going across her is the time it takes. Rushing in. She knows not to rush in. She knows that this has to be done meticulously. And that's what she plans on doing. Let's just ask. Let's just ask. Was Trump just a spectator who liked women, liked young women, not necessarily as young as Jeffrey Epstein, and maybe participated in a party and saw the girls and ogled the girls and did whatever Trump does? But did he actually be part of any of this? Did he actually become part of any of this? Did he, through Epstein and Ghislaine, have parts to do with their underage sex ring? What's Trump's? No. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Holy sugar. Wow. Okay. In the center we have Trump, and he is somebody who gave money to Epstein to help deal. He didn't just participate or be somebody who was on the plane or who spent time on the island or what have you. He is somebody who invested money into whatever it is that Jeffrey Epstein was doing. He was aware of it. Underneath it, we've got the world. This is just going with the flow of those who are in the know, making money at any cost, and enjoying the lifestyle of seeing these women. This was the beginning of it. Trump didn't come up with this of his own fruition. This was something that was introduced to him, and it was given as an idea, and he was quite willing and able to want to put money in it, not thinking about what he was doing. Because when it comes to sexuality, Trump is probably that of 11 or 12-year-old. On top of it, again, is the element of money. I think that not only did Trump put money into it, I think Trump made money out of it. At a certain point, Trump made the decision to walk away and cut all ties with Epstein, which was smart. But this card also shows you that there's so many thoughts going through Trump's head of, oh dear God, the stuff they know, the information they know. Do they have this information? Are there people there that are willing to talk? So regardless of Trump turning his back on Epstein, the fact remains that they do have information on him. He did participate. And from this reading, it looks like there must have been some participation in which there was an exchange of money, the making of money, the giving of money, the borrowing and lending and giving back of money. There's definitely something. Trump had more than just being a person who said, hey, let me go to this party, or, you know, like, he was deeply involved. Wow. Yep. 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 Interesting. Very interesting. Thank you for that question. So let's see what's next. Okay, so this question is from Mary Poppins. Hello there. Thank you for one more delicious reading. You're welcome. I should do a reading while I'm cooking again. I enjoyed so much. Please try to read on the future of Bolsonaro. Bolsonaro? I'm so sorry if I'm butchering that name. Bolsonaro. He did to Brazil what Trump did to America. Is he going to go to jail eventually? Thank you. You're awesome. And I think you, my darling, are awesome too. Thank you for the question. I don't know a whole lot about him. I know that he loves Trump. I know that he's right-winged. I know that Brazil had gone through a long time where they were, you know, governed militantly, and they've only had democracy since 1986. So I know that this man has done a lot of dirty deeds, because I swear to God, I can't help it. You know, I've told you a million times, songs come into my head sometimes. And when I read this question, the first song that came into my mind was Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap. It's like the amount of corruption is just everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's worrisome that he has such a high number, just like Trump still has the highest number, and yet he's under indictment, or he's under investigation. Will he go to jail? Will he? See, it's so hard because there's so much corruption. I'm almost nervous to read about it, because here we go. Let's have a blitz on him. All right, so he's got the support, he's got the help, he's got money coming in to help him along. He's got information on people. When you have power, you have the ability to find out secrets. He's trying to balance this out. He's almost like, I'll give money to this, I will take away from that. He is right-leaning, and he's going to do his part, and he's going to continue to do this. He feels like a winner. He feels like he has the majority on his side. I think that he is hoping that if he keeps people down, if he keeps people in want, if he keeps people in fear, that he will be able to successfully keep going and become revered. He has the star here, like it's the want, the desire. The mental instability here. He's got, it's almost like he's got two personalities, or like multiple personalities. It's not even like, it's a weird feeling. It's like almost like a multiple personality thing, where There is going to be the balancing out of looking at things, starting things new. There's going to be a lot of emotion. There's going to be a lot of uproar. Money is involved. Money is going to be strongly involved when it comes to dealing with his situation. They're looking at it. Prison of their own making. They're going to find the loss of money. We're coming to the end. We're coming to some kind of conclusion. So there is the looking at information. There is the looking at the crimes. I do see him being jailed and then being let out, but it's going to cost a lot of money or something like that. And his world is coming to an end. He's going to try to walk away. He's going to try to walk away. He's going to try to do something to get out. But there is a stable law that is planning, and there's a celebration. It's hard to read because I don't know enough about the situation to know, but I can only give the feelings that are coming from the cards. And the feelings that are coming from the cards is that it's like he walks away from being the president. He goes away. He has a small grouping over here, but there's going to be happiness. There's going to be like cheering, and everybody's going to be happy that he's gone. And there's this being left over of support, people still supporting him. I even in the earlier reading, I said there's people that are supporting him and possible moving away. So I get the feeling that, yes, he could definitely be charged. Yes, they could definitely come down and say, look, this man needs to go to jail. But I also believe as strongly that there's a very strong possibility here that if he knew that jail time was coming, he would be going somewhere else. He already has a plan. He already talked to somebody. He's got the plane. He's got the fuel. He's got it all. So even if it came down that he was going to get in trouble, guess what? He's going to be getting out of Dodge somehow. So that's the vibe. But he's still going to be going for it. His tenacity is like Trump, and he's going to keep trying. He still has these supporters. There is some kind of mental click here where it's just, it gets the feeling of like 2 or 3 people talking inside of him. It's more than, it's not an excuse, but I'm just saying there is something inside of him that creates this, or created this road where he went down of mental illness, and then the support of all the ideals and feeling like being filled up on all this negativity and spewing it. Because what he is saying, he truly feels it deep inside of him. So thank you for that question. I think I just heard my son come in the door, and I'm sure he's just standing very quietly trying to not make any noise while I'm doing this reading. So, my darlings, you can see that there was an interruption, and now it's the next day. It's beautiful out. I thought I'd bring you out here with me, and we will continue with the questions. So the next question is... Jay McDonald writes, 9. I had previously heard about Trump's possible illegitimate child, but this tarot reading is certainly piquing my interest again. I wonder if David Pecker at AMI National Enquirer has confirmation in the so-called catch and kill vault. Does that vault still exist? I know Pecker testified in the grand jury in Manhattan twice. Did Trump use campaign funds to silence the doorman or the possible baby mama? Could this be one of the 34 indictments? Oh, I do find this possibility exciting. I'll be watching for your next reading for sure. Happy Easter, and happy belated Easter to you. So, does the catch and kill vault actually still exist? Were they smart enough to get rid of it? What actually happened to it? So let's just have a look and a peek and see. Right off the center, I've got the Page of Swords. There's somebody who has copies of it. So there has been an opening of it. There has been papers that have been removed from it. I think that this is probably through Trump. Trump asked to have these papers. Going against him is exactly that. There's somebody who has copies of the papers. So even if the actual vault has been compromised and papers have been removed, it still exists, and people have definitely, like, oh my God, every card is like, there's so many people that have taken away from it. In the past, there's been so much heartache and pain caused to people for their stories to be taken down and stuff. It hurts. On top of it, it is literally looking at all the papers and looking at what worth each one has. Very interesting. Queen of Swords. So I do think that there's something here that has to do with legality within this realm of catch and kill, that something's going to come out of it. There's a lot. See, the problem with it is that there's the Fool. The end result is the High Priestess. See, the problem with this type of situation, there's so many people involved and people of power. And so, yes, there's some stealing of papers, but I just see that those who are wanting to keep these papers under wraps, they have done their due diligence, but there's still papers left, there's still information to come out, but this container has been compromised. It has been papers taken out of it. Trump feels like, he pretty much got everything out of there. I feel with the Fool here, it's almost like the news, the paper wanted to have blackmail against people. So with the High Priestess being the end result, I really feel that there's something a little bit more to this than what we even realize, because it has to do with the upper echelon, those who are the ones that owns the planes and has the money. So with the High Priestess here, it feels like there will be a cover-up. It will come out, but it's like the stories that would be of interest have been removed. It's a lot of blackmail. It's just a lot of insight into what was happening during this time. With the High Priestess, there are things that we don't know as of yet. So, very interesting. Thank you for the reading. Or thank you for the question. So, the next question is... Steph says, I'm always glad to see when you have a video posted. I always look forward to seeing you. Thank you. I always look forward to seeing you too. What do you see happening in the U.S. state of Tennessee where two brilliant, brave black men were expelled? So there were 3 people involved in this: Justin Jones, Justin Pearson, and Gloria Johnson. And 2 out of the 3 were removed. Guess why? Complete and utter racism. That's it. There's no reading to say what was this about. It was about racism. But then there's another layer on top of that, that they were looking at gun control. They were taking steps that people who are behind controlling gun control, or being, for gun control, should be standing up and doing what these men did. So let's look at, and have a reading and see what's going to happen with the two Justins. Whoops. As they move forth. I don't like bending cards. Sorry, cards. Okay. What's going to happen for the two Justins? First, I'll start with Justin Jones. Justin Jones. This has really made him really see things in a different perspective. And he has now a mission. He has now it's like he knows that this is part of what he is supposed to be part of. But he is willing to look at how to approach this from a different position. With Justin Pearson, he feels very much like this was a win. He knows that they kind of rushed into this, but I think they knew that, look, if you're going to get any kind of acknowledgement, you've got to do this. With Justin Pearson, I got the 8 of Swords, so there's something that in his thought processes that are holding him back or keeps him a prisoner. I wonder if he hasn't had some personal experiences that really make him mentally difficult for him to be going forth. You know what? We've got the Empress. This is the genesis. This is the beginning, and it's going to take time, because think of a pregnancy. It takes 9 months. This is the genesis of people like the two Justins standing up for gun control. This is the beginning of it. There is going to be a moon phase where they're just not going to be willing to listen. There's going to be combativeness. There is going to be some conversation that will happen behind closed doors, so that even if we're seeing that nothing's going to come out of it, there does seem to be a conversation. And I really feel like the two Justins, including, Gloria Johnson, and the people that will connect with them, will certainly create this environment in which they have to talk about it. And at the end of the day, even though it's going to take time, because the Empress lets us know that, and with the moon, you've got people not willing to want to give this up. It's such a strong, decisive type of thing that people want to have their Second Amendment to carry guns. But it's going to end up being that the Emperor, the person in power, the president, is going to bring structure. So I do see that over time, you will see some revamping of the gun control in the United States. It will be slow, it will be painful, but it will happen. And I truly believe that Justin Jones and James Pearson are going to be named in the history books as the origin of the ones that had the courage and the guts to get up and say, enough is enough. Enough children have died. Enough gun shootings have happened. You can't keep blaming the fact that, guns will save people. You have to look at that guns will kill people and the safety that has to go around that. So It will happen, but it will take time. And I do feel like Justin Jones almost has another idea in mind. He's got something on his mind that, another plan, something to kind of ruffle feathers. I see something like that coming up. Will they will win back and be back in their jobs. That will happen. So, my next question is... Storyteller says, thank you for the reading. I had trouble determining which group vibed with me. I settled on number 2, but 3 felt more representative in general. What do you advise people in this circumstance? P.S. Now I want a grilled cheese sandwich. Thanks. So, when I do my weekly vibes and I say pick a number, I truly feel like people get led to the number or the message that they are supposed to have. And sometimes that message might be picking one number, and sometimes your guides or your spirit or your intuition will put you into the next number because there's something that you need to know, there's some advice. So if you get inclined and you say, I picked number 1, but I've got this real want to read number 3, then go for it. You're probably being guided to it. You know what I'm saying? The universe will always find a way to get you to get the message that they're looking for. So if you were inspired to read a second one, it's probably because somebody was nudging you to get that information, to get that piece of advice, to get that acknowledgement. Because as much as I can share doing my tarot readings, your intuition, your God essence inside of you can guide you better than anybody else. That's within you. You have the power within you. So, the next question. Julia says, hello to you. I'm texting because I loved your prayer you started with. Beautiful. I have a request. I would love for you to help me, please. I have a son who's struggling with addiction and fear losing. If you could find it in your heart, could you help me pray for him? I need to encircle my son with all the power zoning on his spirituality to get him right again before it's too late. I know it's a strange request, but your prayer inspired me to reach out. Thank you. I am so sorry that you are going through the pain of watching somebody go through addiction. And I think addiction is one of those things that are still not understood. People feel too often that why, if you started it, just finish it. They don't understand that for the person who's addicted, they're in this dark, lonely, desperate place. They're not trying to hurt their loved ones. They have something in them that's disconnected, and they need to find something to cope. And when you start learning to cope with whatever it is that you're addicted to, then that becomes the easiest way to get through life. It becomes the path of least resistance. And the longer you work with that and the longer you live like that, the harder it is to turn around and say, I'm going to change my life. Because then as the addicted person, you have to have that moment of clarity. Some people call it rock bottom. For me, I think it's when you actually have that moment of self-love, where you realize that I love myself enough to want to change, because the work that goes behind the change is the hardest part. Because no matter what somebody's addicted to, it's not the item they're addicted to, it's the pain. It's whatever's going inside of them. I know, it could be a childhood trauma and they've never dealt with it, so then they abuse. There's always something behind it, something greater than the addiction. And for us, for those of us who are in that situation where we see addiction or we're even part of the addiction, forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for having it. Forgive that person for having it. And realize that that person, no matter what state of being they're in, they're beautiful. They're perfect. Everything that is good is inside of them. They're just in pain. They're just hurting. They're just trying to fill a void. So when you pray, you shouldn't talk about the addiction. Don't say, I want them to get over the addiction, or I wish they would get over the addiction. Pray that they have self-love. Pray that God gives them the grace to get through another day. And be the light. Be the connection that they need, because that's the biggest thing, is having connection, knowing that there's people that love you out there. So make sure that you let them know every day, whatever their demeanor is, even if they're mad at you because you didn't give them what they needed or what they wanted, you say, I love you. And they will remember that. And I have looked through so many poems and so many writings trying to find some kind of inspiration. And honestly, the only one that I kept coming back to was the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardship as the pathway to peace, taking, as Jesus did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that you will make all things right if I surrender to your will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with you forever in the next. Amen. So that is the end of our reading, and my friend, I want to tell you, I am so glad you're here. I am so glad you're my friend. I really feel this connection, as though I have this friend out here that I can talk to, that can understand where I'm coming from. And even if you don't agree, you still love me anyway, as I love you. So have a good day. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And as always, I have our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. And until the next time we chat, cheerio, take care, and God bless.